Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be playing Red Planet Farming, just as sort of a stay-over game between two other games. Red Planet Farming is sort of a chill, turn-based farming game where you're farming on the Red Planet, also known as farming on Mars. So Red Planet Farming is sort of broken up into, by default, sort of four scenarios, which sort of walk you through the mechanics. Each of the scenarios, except for the first one, has its own mechanic. No new thing to interact with. Yeah, I'm thinking actually the noise is a little loud. Can I? No, can't from here. I can also turn the volume down a little bit. No, it's not going to. Nope, that's not what I want. Oh, I can't find a good way to turn the volume down. That's interesting. Okay, well I can turn it down a little bit on your end at least. And then I can manually turn down my volume. Hopefully that should work. Yeah, we're going to play Red Planet Farming today. It's going to be a short, quick game. Basically, there's 4 different places you farm. We're going to start off in the first one the story makes you go to. Well, the story makes you go to all of them in particular order. We're going to go to Gale Farming first. Has all sort of the basic hazards in Gale Farming. Alright, Gale Crater here. And yeah, this is a turn-based game. It does track how many turns you do on each scenario. You start off with 5 on the first one. It's going to force us through this starting tutorial, where this guy here introduces us to doing farming on the planet. So, for example, we can plant potatoes. Potatoes need water. And for the first scenario, or first part of the scenario, it's basically goes and forces you through building 2 different examples of how you can do things. We've got potatoes and kale. Potatoes and kale will feed, in this case, everyone on the planet for the first turn, so we can go ahead and do that. Kale happens to, in this case, be vulnerable to dust storms, so if you have a dust storm during that year, you need to put up a dust shield for it. The potatoes always need water, so basically it walks us through the process of watering the potatoes and protecting the kale if the kale needs protection. And then every year, assuming you fed everyone, the outpost will grow in population. And also, that bit of tutorial is also walking us through the process that if you don't feed the citizens, that might get you fired. So we now have access to the starting 3 plants for this scenario. We have potatoes, which cost 2 cost 2 currency to make, earn us 4 if it gets harvested, and has a subsistence of 4, so it'll feed 4 people. Requires irrigation, and it always requires irrigation. So, irrigation, on the other hand, which hangs around, it costs 4 to set up, requires 3 power, and provides irrigation, obviously. It does have a cost decrease if you put it adjacent to existing irrigation, and you get half the value back if you disassemble it. The dust dome that we put up in the first one as well, also has cost of 4. Said provides dust protection, but as always, sort of the same. You can see this year we are going to have 2 dust storms. So if we set up kale, or I thought it was kale, spinach. We set up the spinach. We need dust protection. We already have some dust protection, so that's not a problem. We've also been supplied with a Grecla here, which is a leafy green crop that grows back. So this is a perennial crop, so you pay once, and it will hang around unless something happens that causes the crop to be destroyed. So initially, it costs more than either the potato or the spinach. It provides less earnings, it provides less substance, but it will hang around, it will keep coming back. So if you're looking at it from a 1 year off, it's pretty bad. If you're looking at it from it will be back next year, so I can get double payout from it, or triple payout from it, or quadruple payout from it. It gets pretty good. So we're going to want to, when we have opportunities to afford to put down perennials, we should put down perennials. And I'm going to place that irrigation down. You know, we'll go a little bit heavy. We'll also put the potato down in it as well. The city tends to grow faster the more food you provide it. Meaning you don't necessarily want to focus on giving it food. You usually want to actually focus on making money. So we provided 13 food. We only needed to provide 6, so we're going to say we're probably going to get big population growth here. And yeah, we got 6 new people here. So now we have to grow at least that much food, otherwise we're going to have a problem. Let's grab the peppers, because it's a perennial as well. So this year there's a cold snap, so to protect the irrigation cold plant, we do need to provide some cold protection for it. Which has just introduced us to the warming, the heater that provides heat, so we can plop that down to get some heat. Plop the spinach down. And let's also go ahead and plop a potato down. And that'll feed everyone. We've also been given access, or given what the first sort of zone quest is. So if we grow population 25, you get 25 extra coins to spend on things. In each of these scenarios, I'm going to break the short series, because it's only going to be a 4-part long series, into each of these cities. The goal basically is to grow them up to 100 people. There's an achievement, I think, for growing one of them to 200 that I haven't done. That one can be a little bit tricky because of how dense you have to get the food value in the city. And obviously, after you go through all 4 scenarios, it'll let you go back to any of them and basically play them in endless mode. Which is where you would go for the 2,000 or the 200 population. So we had 12 people to feed. We fed 13. We earned 14. So now we're expected to earn or feed 14 people. So we're going to figure out if we fit more people or more food in here, which is not necessarily a hard thing to do. We have no radiation, so we might do. We do have a cold snap though. So let's say we do spinach. Do I want to do another perennial? Let's do the group. The heater. And we'll toss a pepper out somewhere. Okay, so that'll get us our minimum food. Get us a little bit more money than last time as well, so we can continue expanding. Also, because we did set it up with another Agricola, instead of potato, we're not going to have to replace that one every year. It does take about 2 years for that to be sort of worth it. We should see that paying off. 16. We're now being introduced to radiation, which is what the peppers are weak to. So let's toss the radiation shield out. There's a decent possibility they wouldn't actually necessarily be suffering anything here, because the radiation is not that bad. Okay, so we've got 16, we're making 16. At this point, I think it's more of setting up the infrastructure we want for future years. At least on this one. Let's grab a couple plots. So we've got space to expand into. But yeah, in comparison to some of the other games I've played on the channel, this is going to be a nice, chill, sort of farm in Mars game. Okay, so that should be enough to feed everyone. We are still going to have some population growth, so we are going to be expected to expand food production again. Yeah, so we need at least another 3 food this quarter, or this year. If you need power, you can set up a solar power. 25 in. 25 power. For 25, we get 20 more units of power. We're not desperate for power right now, so that's not a problem. Ah, no spinach. So I was going to put some spinach there, but we can't. We need 8 more substance. Okay, I got a couple options to do. What we're going to do is we're probably going to take advantage of sticking out some more perennials. Okay, that's a little overfeeding it, but that'll produce some pretty good returns. We didn't have anything that needed dust protection. Stuff that had cold vulnerability had cold protection, so it was nice, simple year. We may have a little bit of radiation in this year coming up. I would not be surprised. Okay, so we don't really need much more food this year. Ah, garlic. Garlic is going to be good for us. And no radiation, okay. Oh, we get the garlic next turn. Okay. There we go. We'll get a little more food that way. That should be productive. We're going to get a cold snap, which shouldn't affect anything because we've got everything being cold protected that needs cold protection. And a dust storm, which again, only the spinach is affected by. And we seeded 25 people because we obviously got that reward. We're up to 31. Okay. So this is a little bit cheeky thing you can do. Whenever it's doing the expansion, it's going to take over Hex and displace your store stuff in it. It doesn't displace the solar panel, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to just slap the solar panel in that location. Call it good. Okay, so we've got enough food, but we've got a lot of unprotected stuff for radiation. It's going to be a big upcoming radiation year. So let's slap the radiation protection in. There we go. So that should protect our investments. And then we've got a research here to grow 5 batches of potatoes and 3 batches of maize. So I probably will get a little ahead of myself and we'll start growing potatoes. We don't have the maize yet, but we can grow the potatoes. And obviously keep growing the settlement. One thing you notice every once in a while, we'll just have a seed will be out of stock, and you can't get a particular seed. That's more likely to happen if you plant a lot of something. As the game's trying to encourage you to do some diversity. Got 40 food, which is more than 31 people need. Got 43 earnings. So population goes shooting up because we way exceeded the population. 47. Okay, there's the maize we're going to want next year. So it's going to take over that hex. I don't think I need more power. Do I want more power? That's a good question. I think we'll get some of this garlic out. And then, yeah, we'll probably... Can we get away with clearing you and still being positive? Oh, we got no wind hazards here, so we can pull the protections off of here. Get the money back out of it. Slap spinach in there, and that'll work. So when it takes that hex over, it's going to remove whatever's in the hex. In this case, I just put something that will actually be gone when the time comes next year. Okay, so that'll be enough food. We're gonna make a bunch of money. We'll have the potatoes grown, and we can start moving on to the maize. And if you're all the onions I just put down are also perennial, so they'll just be... They've got no vulnerabilities. They're not very tile effective, but they're very cost effective in the long run, because you can just sort of plop them in a hex and get rewards for having hexes. There we go, 51 food, so we feed everyone, 59 earnings. Population is up to 55. These are both annuals. That one only needs cold snap protection, that needs irrigation and dust storm protection. Might pick up the lettuce, that's got a pretty good profit on. So it seems enough sellers are really liking the food we're growing. So now we will get... look that way. Now we'll get situations where food will be in high demand and will pay double value. In this case, this is a food that normally pays 5 this year and this year only. Well, it might come back in a later year, but this year it will pay 10. Of course, this is a dust storm year, so doesn't mean it's a cheap thing to build. And we're out of stock on the potatoes. It's dusty and high radiation. We can see the maize. We got a quest to grow 2 maize, so we'll probably find a way to grow 2. They need radiation protection and dust protection, and we'll need both this year. But they provide 11 substance. Okay. Oh, I don't have enough power. What I'm gonna do is make you solar panel. Ooh, then I might not have enough. Okay, never mind. Back that off. We're gonna pluck the water here, so get the power from where the water would have been. Dust to dust. Okay, so that'll provide us enough food to feed everyone. We got 3 power left. I think we'll try to get one more Agricola. Or not one, one more spinach, because that's the double-priced one for the year. There we go. And, oh, we won't quite finish this one because it's 3 things of maize, and we're doing 2 things of maize. But that'll work. We can probably grow a maize next year as well to complete this for the 30 coins. And obviously this was a pretty harsh dust storm, cold snap. So these have been pretty harsh for radiation years, so it was a pretty high likelihood if you didn't protect your stuff, it would get clapped. So I'm gonna feed 66. Pick another one of my hexes. A perennial that's pretty good at earning, not very good at feeding, though, is the problem we're going to run into with avocado. We might take the... I'll take the Enonami, then. Read rumors that there are plans for a new outpost at Velis Marinus. That's the next sort of scenario area. So if we can raise the population to 100, we'll get that job. Okay, so this time, maize is double price. Which, you would have noticed that actually last year, when we planted maize, we paid 9 and all got 7 for it, so we were actually losing money on it. This year it will actually earn some money, so I'm definitely on board with slapping both of them in. We'll put the spinach back in, because we've got the adequate protection for that. Or do I want to do that? I might want to do differently. Yeah, let's do differently. Let's pull you. Actually, at some point, I'm going to need some more power. So we're gonna play the trick again to get some more power and not lose that hex. The hex is not super important. We can totally torch it. It wouldn't be a problem. Do the spinach. Now we only need to get 10 more food to feed everyone. Garlic feeds 2 each. Can I just get... No, I'm gonna have to... Let's get 1 lettuce out. So that will be... irrigation... dust protection. And then I just need to feed 4 people, which we can get with 2 things of garlic. There we go. And we'll get a big payout for the getting enough carbs on the next turn. Here we go, got a reward. We're up to 79 people. Some warning about the solar flare predicted in the outcome. Need another hazard. Crops that are weak to radiation will likely suffer during solar flares unless already adequately protected. So again, this is... radiation was one of those where it's like, oh, you're possibly going to take damage. When you have a solar flare, they're guaranteed to take damage if they're not adequately protected. But that's the only hazard this year, so we can take advantage of that to some degree. What was the ones we need to grow again? Spinach. Agricola, which are already growing, and iceberg lettuce. Okay. So I'll provide the 2 for you. We already have the 2 for you planted, and we got the 3 for you planted. Okay. Okay, let's... Hydroponic systems for the water source. It's a little bit of an expensive version. We need more power for that. We'll need to do both of them. Do one on the irrigation system then, because we can fit that in the power budget. Oh, we don't need any cold snap protection, so we could do edamame. Okay. Oh, and I can't place any garlic. Okay, let's do a little bit more edamame to get a little bit more currency. There we go. And again, the solar flare should only damage the stuff that's radiation vulnerable. We've got everything that's radiation vulnerable protected, so it should be a simple year. No, I was thinking it was 100 where we get kicked to the next one, but we got kicked to the next one anyway. So this is the Interplanetary Department of Agriculture telling us that we've been promoted to go work at the new site. which is the Valles Marinaires. This is one of the greater trench systems in the Martian landscape. And that's what we'll do in the next part. So if you're watching on YouTube, sorry, this was maybe a little bit of a short part, but we're playing a bit of a short and simple game today, so we were able to fly through the first scenario fairly quickly. And we may fly through the next one pretty quickly as well. So you can expect the next part to be up tomorrow. Until then, I wish you all the best of luck and good time. Catch you all in the next part, and bye for now.